Good morning, guys. I'm sorry I'm not there with you, but let's go ahead and start our lesson. Today, we are doing lesson number 9, solving problems about proportional relationships. Let's go ahead and solve problems about proportional relationships. Today's goal, I can ask questions about a situation to determine whether two quantities are in a proportional relationship. I can solve all kinds of problems involving proportional relationships. Remember, a proportional relationship is where we have the same unit rate all the way down, or we have an equation that is set up as a proportional equation like we talked about yesterday in the form of y equals kx. So let's go ahead and read this question. It says the table below shows the number of hours Jim worked and how much he earned. How much did Jim earn per hour? Remember that when we have this per hour, that means we're looking for 1 hour. So in our table, we have 2 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours. We want our unit rate, which would be 1 hour. So I'm going to go ahead and add it to the bottom. I want to find my unit rate, which is any number to 1. Our tables are already labeled with our X and our Y. So we're going to go ahead and solve. Remember that to solve for our unit rate, we can either go up and down on our table, or we can do R, which is unit rate, equals Y divided by X. I'm going to go ahead and do Y divided by X, so I'm going to pick a row to use. I'm going to go ahead and use this one, and I'm going to set up my problem. 41.20 divided by 2. So if I go ahead and divide 41.20 by 2, my unit rate would then equal 20.6. But remember, we're talking about earnings or money. So that means I'm going to add a dollar sign at the front and a 0 at the end to make it $20.60. So for every 1 hour, Jim earned $20.60, which would make my answer B. Okay, so let's go ahead and try a second problem together. Problem number 2. It says Abbott is paid weekly for every hour he works. He worked 6 hours each day for 5 days last week. He earned $408 before tax. Which equation represents Abbott's total pay if he worked H hours each week? Okay, let's go ahead and look at this question. So if he's paid weekly for every hour he works. So we're looking at money and we're looking at hours, nothing else. He worked 6 hours each day for 5 days. He earned $408. Which equation represents his total pay if he worked H hours? So we're looking at P as total pay. So we have to figure everything out to equal P. So we want to go ahead and figure out how much he's making per hour. So if I'm looking at per hour, then that means hour is going to be our unit rate, R1. And pay is going to be our Y. So we got to solve for that. So I know that he earned $408, but I don't know exactly how many hours he worked. I know that he worked 6 hours for every day. So if he worked 6 hours per day for 5 days, what would I need to do? Well, I know that usually when I see this word other than in unit rate, it's telling me that I'm probably going to multiply. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, and he works 6 hours each of those days. So that would be 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. So he worked a total of 30 hours to make $408. Okay, good. So now I want to find my unit rate. So remember, unit rate is R equals Y over X. Or in this case, it would be P over H. So if I do 408 divided by 30, that would make my unit rate $13.60. Because remember, we're looking at money. So if I were to write my equation, it would be y equals 13.60x. And if I replace those letters, I have P equals 13.60h, which is C. Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead and try the next few problems on your own.